You guessed it. Keith by the koi pond. Soon to be in the koi house. And I don't know about you, but I'm getting sick of this winter. Wet. 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 The grass is about knackered. Good thing is, as you can see, I don't want to step on the grass too much, but things are really starting to sprout. They're happy, and lilies are sprouting, and wow, I've got a lot for you guys to catch up with. Got a handful. I've got some of these Japanese just lanterns. I bought 4. I'm gonna hook them together and hang them up in like a string. I've got some exciting news. I think I've grabbed myself a bargain, and I'll show you in a minute what this video is primarily about. Catch up on the trickle tower, the DIY trickle tower, and yeah, you'll see when we walk in, it will all be given away. The small 2K pond has literally just been cleaned out. Oh, I shouldn't do it like this. The bees are coming out for a poo and away. The wind is absolutely blowing the shit out of everything in here again. I've got to do a spring clean soon, so let me show you what I've got. So there's them. I'll show you those in a bit. What have I got, guys? Ooh, excited, excited, excited. I've been seeing a lot of talk on forums, WhatsApp groups that I'm in, of people buying these mini air source heat pumps, and they're like little 4-5 kilowatt cubes. Well, I've been looking into them, and I seen one on Facebook Marketplace. A seller was selling 2. Someone that sells hot tubs. These are primarily for swimming pools, small swimming pools, and hot tubs. And there's a hot tub, I think a seller selling 2 ex-demo ones. And I was going to buy one anyway. I looked on eBay and I found the exact same one, brand new, being sold on there. And the money they wanted for it, for buying it now, for me, it was almost too good to be true. And I actually thought, if I'm honest with you, I'm taking a risk due to the price that they wanted. What price do you think this is worth? I think it's a 5 kilowatt heat pump. I'm going to unpack this and I will come back. So it's fully unpacked. I actually think I've been really lucky. I really do. So fully unpacked. Like I say, I was really expecting a box of bricks or something completely different to what this one person was selling this for. He just had one for sale, brand new, totally boxed up, completely sealed. Still got the straps on. So I've unpacked it. All the bits are with it. I've took this off to have a look at the electrics, and it's simply a live, neutral and earth. And this is, I think you can buy like a controller for it. Looking at the instructions. So looking at the instructions, it's got to be 300mm from the back of the unit, which is here where the grill is. This is the back. Now unfortunately, this is, the connections are on the front, so that has got to be the front of it. So obviously with a going back, because I'm going back into a greenhouse, I've got to come back on itself. So I've got to somehow find a way. There's 2 connectors on here, which is quite handy, but I might have to get different ones. But I think I should be able to get 1.5" connected to this, a boot, 1.25" boot with maybe some 1.5", a bit of 1.25" pipe with a with reducer in to 1.5", and then reduce up. Or I could just run 1.25" solvent weld to it. But I'll have to have a think about that. I'll have to see what connectors I can get. So yeah, that will be pretty much what it will look like on the back of this greenhouse, in the corner there, obviously facing out. So there's quite a bit of space there, so obviously the pipes will come probably in here somewhere and then run around here. So that's what I'm looking at. So what do you think? I mean, there's obviously a condensate on there, so I think that comes down here somewhere. There's a tube and a connector and a hole there, and there'll be a hose, but I'll just leave that going to ground. There's a controller here, nothing special, these controllers. And looking at it, looking at the inside and everything, it looks like a nice unit. Reading it, it says there's titanium in there. It tells you how to set it up. It looks quite straightforward. I've actually had I bought a couple of these controllers a few years ago, and one was eating a greenhouse at the top of the garden there, and I've actually got one of these actually spare still in a box somewhere. Perimeter settings, error codes, maintenance and inspection, and there's not a lot to it. So there's not a lot to it really. So just got to do a bit of research on the install and everything, on the wiring diagram, see what that said. It just says it needs to be circuit protected. There's just a flow and return. They just recommend a flow and return and a bypass. And then if you in cold freezing conditions, if it's not in use, they recommend to disconnect it. So you've got a flexible sort of connections here to disconnect it and drain the unit, because when it's stood still it could freeze up internally. So if you don't use these in winter, then drain them down. Can't really see the wiring diagram. Oh, here it is. It's just live, neutral and earth. It's not showing pre-wiring what it recommends. It just says to have a circuit breaker on it. But I've seen people, I think most people put it on a flex with a plug on and plug it in with a fuse amp, because this line from here to the greenhouse is on I think a 30 amp switch. But I know a lot of people have power with one of them red isolators like you'd have on solar panels and systems like that. So I don't know whether to do that or not, or whether just to simply put a plug on the end and plug it in. So yeah, how much do you think I paid for this? And I'll reveal that in the next one. Answers on a postcard. So yeah, that's the only dilemma there. So here's the stats. We'll just go through the stats. It's a 5.3 heating capacity. It uses 0.67 watts, so that's 670 watts, or 0.6 watts. It's 240 volt, and then the actual where is it? I did see it on here somewhere. I've seen it somewhere. It tells you the water volume is 2.3 meter cubed an hour. So it can take up to 2.3 meters cubed an hour. So obviously I won't be I've not done any measurements yet, but my main pond, I think this is 5 cube, because if I'm right, 10,000 litres is, I think, 10 cube. 10 cubic, so I think this is 5 cube. So that will take half this volume per hour, and I won't be pushing that much through it. I'll be pushing that through it, so I probably will be pushing half of the volume through it actually, an hour. So it's probably about bang on. So if we have a look, where I'm proposing to fit it, it's a shame I can't fit it on the side here, but I'll be blocking the entrance, my main entrance. I won't mind on the other side, but then I have to run the pipes all the way around this way. So we're looking that it will be here, just there. So I was thinking, shall I chop out this cement in three places, 1, 2 and then 3 here, and put some steel bar sticking out, and then put a grid on top of it and then sit it on top of that, because I've actually got some, can't remember where it is now, but I've normally got stuff hanging about. Failing that, to put some, to shutter it out and concrete it. But like I say, I was thinking of chopping out the cement in the wall, say about half the, so say 3 inch in, or even 4 inch in all the way through the block, and then sealing that in with cement and stuff, and just seeing if that would take the weight, because I have got, where did I put it? So yeah, that's where it would go. So I think the controller would be here, so it'd be a foot off the wall, 300mm. So the pipes would be connected, would be one here, so I'd obviously have to come across that way and either straight in and across, but I'd obviously bring it, so it'd probably be, unless it sticks out here, so the 300 there, yeah, so it's probably going to be here, so it don't stick out, so the unit would actually be to the corner here. I could go further across, but then it'd be sticking out here, and I don't want to come around the corner and you know, hit it. So yeah, lots to think about. And then like I say, the parts will come out, come round, and either through and across, or they'll come across this back wall and out, and then come shoot up at an angle like that. So they'll come out here either together or on joints here, maybe just there, and then come up at an angle and then come in, and then obviously lag them and insulate them the best I can. So yeah, I have actually got some, so like I said, I've got two options. I either cement it in, shutter off cement, or put some steel supports on the wall. I know some people use angle iron at an angle and bolt it to the wall. That'll probably be a better option if I can get something like that, and I can just sit it straight on top of that. There's the actual feet, which have got rubbers on them in the kit. It's actually smaller than what I was looking at there, so it probably won't be too bad. So like I said, I could have two steels coming out, and then I was thinking of simply putting that on and letting it sit on that, and then literally that's it. But that is a pretty big metal, isn't it? I tend to use what I've got to try and save as much money as possible. And I don't know where it is. I have got like a piece of really tough steel that I could, it's about 2 inch wide and it's a length of it, and I've got that somewhere, so I could actually use that, but I'm not sure, to save me carrying loads of sand and cement down. There it is, I found it. It was right behind my back. I've got this. So I could actually cut that in half, and have that bedded in the concrete, in the wall, you know, sticking out, so to speak. And then have something sat on top of that, and then this sat on top of that. So that's what I'm thinking anyway. And the thickness of that, it really is, it's tough stuff. So it's not going to bend or anything. And that is about 1/2 inch thick, so that would be about right for if I was to chop out here and then sort of really drive it in and then seal it in into the wall on this joint, and that would be it. So yeah, wow, food for thought. So what do you think to that? That was an unforeseen development, I've got to say myself. It wasn't a fully planned and costed move, I've got to admit. I was sat there looking at, I think it was Supreme Koi Mark Cheddar, I think had fitted one of them box ones on a temporary grow on. And so I started looking again, and I've been looking for about a month or two, looking at these, you know, these mini ones. And I saw this on the marketplace. The guy wanted £500 ex demo, and I saw someone on eBay selling one of these only, and yeah, in fact, I'll tell you the cost. £301. Yes, £301. £6, £6.99 delivery. I think it was £295. Buy it now with £6.99 delivery. So it cost me something like £301.99 or something. 98 delivered, and it came. I ordered it on the Sunday. He sent me a message saying you should have it tomorrow, and like I said, I was thinking box of bricks is coming, something completely different to what I've got, but it didn't. It came, and here it is. £301.98 delivered. So I thought, my mindset at the time was, well, even if it's no good, it's worth the risk. Even if, because I'm covered by PayPal, because I paid by PayPal and you've got eBay protection, if it doesn't come, and it does come in a box of bricks, if it's scammed, I'm going to get my money back. So I took the punt, and this is what I've got. Now the question is this brand new unit, this 5.3 kilowatt unit, going to be good enough to keep this at say 12 degrees C at this time of year, so I can turn the main heaters down, so those will go right down, probably to 10 degrees as opposed to about 12, 13 now, because the temperature in here now, look, is 14. So they won't be on now, but the below, the minimum it's been is 8.5 since I reset it about a week ago, because I've had a cold spell. Temperature on the pond at the minute on this one is 10.7. So is that going to be enough to keep this maintained at a couple of degrees what it is now, as opposed to those heaters? And those heaters kicking on and off, keeping the ambient temperature in here about 4 degrees lower, like I was doing before. It won't be as nice in here, but it has got a little bit dank in here at the moment actually, because the sun's not been out really much for a week. The condensation's building up. The air temperature's no lower, not much lower, it's the same. So yeah, I cannot afford another £440. Well, I can, but I don't want to keep paying £440 a month. Okay, so that and that one, it's not quite worked because I've not got the stability on the pond either. This floor, or it is actually drawing out more heat than the ambient heat can provide. So I'm hoping that can do the trick and keep it maintained at 12. And then if it was putting it into practice, if that was in play now, we've maintained it for 12 for the last few months, and then I would start creeping it up 13. So as the air temperature in here gets more, this goes up with the air temperature of the room, if that makes sense. So if I'm consistently getting 13 degrees minimum in here, I'd expect that this would be the same. So actually what happens is, for 5 months in our summer, I can use the air pump to keep this at 24 degrees. And then keep it balanced, nice consistent 24 for 5 months, not maybe up and down. And then in winter, the end of autumn, I've got options to either extend it and push it as much as I can, when naturally it would be getting drawn, the air would be getting drawn out the pond and lowering, and I might well squeeze another month out the season at the end to keep the food going in. And that might be the difference of 4 centimetres to some fish. You can get between 2 and 4 centimetres growth a month in the growing season. And without it, you're almost getting 0. Trust me. Those koi in that pond, in that garden up there, hardly grown. And since I've had them grown in here, even at these temperatures, you notice the body volume and the growth on them and the shape. For example, that Achiba, the Coda Achiba, wasn't growing in that pond. And now it's just staying like, almost like 35 cm and quite slim. And since being in here, it's just put more volume on it. So yeah. So anyway, I've done it now. It's cost me 300 quid. I'm hoping that my method and my maths as well. I've paid more than that on the last month alone. So I took a risk. I'm hoping it's going to work out for me. I'm going to turn those down. So I'm hoping that that will, the money that I'm spending now, next year, might reduce down by 50-60%. So it might be, instead of 430, my electric bill might be back down to say 250, 270, something like that, to heat this heat up, you know, this air up lower. And then the heat pump will be kicking in to keep this maintained at 12, steady 12, because this has been, I mean, this no doubt would have been, I'll have a check, so on the next video I'll update the temperatures on this, what the minimum was. But I'm probably fluctuating from 12 to 8, probably a 4 degree difference. But it's still nowhere near what that pond's doing. The minimum that's been is just below 4 degrees when it was really cold a few weeks ago. So that ends this video. Lots to come. The Cactually hasn't come. I've ordered that 5 days ago. I mentioned that on my last video. That's to come. A bit disappointed really. I've looked at the tracking. Looks like it's coming from China. Don't get it, because I thought there was a European seller. So I've got to admit I'm a little bit disappointed there. 5 days so far and it's not come. I thought it might have come quicker. It's obviously come with China shipping, I think. Bit disappointed with that so far, so not a great start, but I'll have a video on that one as well. If you haven't liked it, the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.